Hey. Welcome, man. In this video, I'm going to share my story on how I built an entrepreneurial high life and lived like Dan Bilzerian for 30 days. And quite frankly, I kept doing it. And I'm gonna share you all the secrets, what I learned throughout the journey, and how I did this. If you wanna go from average or not good enough and actually build your dream lifestyle full of women, adventure, high status, people in general, and freedom, then this is your chance to discover something completely new. I used to freaking suck. I'm just gonna speak from the heart. I sucked when it came to women, when it came to business, freedom. I was homeless at one point, actually multiple times I was homeless. And on top of that, I remember when my ex-girlfriend broke up with me and I begged her. We were on a leg hanging out and she ended it with me and I was crying ah! And I kept crying for 2 weeks. And obviously the more I did that, the more I pushed her away and it was completely dead. And I was so desperate, man. And I know I'm making fun of it, but it was the worst time of my life. I felt so completely and I didn't know what to do as a man. I started being a maniac because of the patheticness and the desperation. Started approaching wildly everyone I could see. Every time I was attracted to a woman, I would approach her. And I actually approached thousands of women, but I never got any real results. So something was definitely not working for me. One day I saw this, it was a friend of a friend, his name is Thomas, and he owns 2 strip clubs. Well, he owned them back then, and I just saw him man, he has it figured out. He was earning money, plus on top of that, dating all these girls. Imagine if you're owner of a strip club. And I just had that idea, maybe I should go about that, but I wasn't sure, right? Because he had figured it out. I was running around, wasting all this time, never getting the real high quality women that I wanted. And on top of this, I went to the clubs and I saw these guys roll in with, a lot of women. So I thought, there must be a way where I can build a lifestyle while getting paid for it in a way, because I thought that would be so much more efficient. And that's actually one of the secrets. I'm gonna go in details and actually lay out how you do this, but I just wanted you to understand that I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, or I was not rich when I did this. I just did it from scratch because I had that desire. What really made it work for me is I made a decision, and that's step 1. You gotta make what I call a king's decision. And there are some layers to this. The first thing you gotta make sure of is stop settling. You gotta look at all those limiting beliefs, all your mindsets that's holding you back. Because human potential is great once we actually roll out. So you gotta have some help on that, or be able to identify it on a piece of paper and then create a vision. Because when you feel powered up, those moments where you feel powered up, right? That's where you can actually build something fantastic. Create a very crystal clear vision. How many people are you hanging out with on a monthly basis, weekly basis? How many dates? How many friends? What kind of friends do you have? We create something we call a war map. And I like Dunbar theory of mapping out 150 people that you want to connect with. That's, another tip there. Map out who do you actually want to meet. So when you do that, you can backwards engineer the whole thing. And that's basically the point. Another step in making a king's decision is working on your identity, because the current identity you have right now probably won't make it happen. And what is the identity? It's the view that we have of ourselves. That identity needs to be crystal clear. And not only the view, but how we actually behave. That's the identity. You gotta make sure that your identity is equal to a king's, because you're about to create something fantastic. And that's what I did. After failing so much, I actually met this guy who I made my mentor. And that was the reason why I succeeded. So I would encourage you to go out there and get a mentor. But anyways, that's step 1, making a king's decision. And that's kind of the boring stuff. The cool stuff is when you go in and actually build a setup. And we're gonna get to that in just a minute. I just wanna give you 3 mindsets that completely will change the game for you. Number 1, man, you need to treat your lifestyle as a business. If you wanna be a master networker, if you wanna be a master connector, you wanna be able to attract anybody in the world, celebrities. I got to a point where I was hanging with The Weeknd, the singer, or Akon, build a 7-figure business, connecting with beautiful models who have millions of followers. But if you want to do it efficiently, you think about this area of your life as something you treat very seriously and you plan, right? That's why I talked about the wall map before. A second belief is that you gotta leverage entrepreneurship and social circles to your advantage. The mindset is, I am willing to use entrepreneurship and elite social circles to actually build my dream life with women or people in general, because that's going to be much more efficient. And you might have beliefs like, oh, that's going to be difficult, or I don't know how to start a business, I don't want to start a business. That's great. Maybe you don't want to do any of that, but I promise you this method will give you a lifestyle much faster than running around and approaching. I'm not talking about being good in flirting. That's a great skill. I'm talking about building a lifestyle fast. And that's what I did. The third thing that's really gonna help you to actually make this happen, understanding you can get it all as a man. I can get it all as a man. We are being told by media and even influencers that, oh, it requires hustle, 16 hours a day, and then you can build a business. If you wanna be successful with women, you gotta have great looks or you gotta be all in on it. Like, you can get it all as a man. You can get freedom, you can get lifestyle, you can get social circles, you can get purpose and happiness. And also be in a committed relationship. You can get all of that. You just gotta decide that that's a possibility for you. The second thing that you gotta do is build a lifestyle setup. What does that mean? Well, a setup is kind of like what Bilzerian talks about. Let's just check it out here.
I kind of figured out that life is more about setup. I wanted to set it up so that I could get laid without having a bunch of conversations and dates and whatnot. So it's like, if a hot girl goes to a bar and she gets hit on 10 times, she can go home and sleep like a baby and not hook up with anybody. But if she goes to the bar and nobody pays attention to her and nobody talks to her, then she almost has to hook up with somebody to feel validated a little bit. So these are kind of situations where there's just so many girls that nobody was hitting on them, nobody was being aggressive, and the girls would come to the guys. So it was kind of like a setup thing.
Look at what you just said. A setup is such an efficient and attractive thing because it actually gets women and people in general to run after you. I had billionaires partnered up literally with billionaires. Beautiful women want to do business with you. You won't imagine what happens in record time when you have a setup. Because what is a setup? A setup is a passion of yours that you turn into a high status thing so people chase. Think about a model agency owner. Do you think it's easy for him to connect with women? Or my friend Thomas with the strip clubs. If you have that kind of leverage, it's gonna be easier to naturally meet and attract people that you're interested in. So it's all about creating a setup around the thing that you or the people that you wanna connect with more. Put people in your friend zone. This sounds so counterintuitive, I know. It's probably against everything you've ever learned, but that's why I got so massive success, is because I thought about not what I could get now and here in an interaction, but I thought about, what could I get with time? And that one person, how many women does she know? Or people, or successful people, who can she connect me with? And then I connect to their network because she loves me and we're having a friendship. And now I'm driving through that network, and now you have multiple social circles. It's a different approach. But if you do it like this, then what's gonna happen is, man, and you don't need money to do this. That's where people, they get it wrong. What you need is value. You need to create value for other people, so you leverage that. When you tell a beautiful woman, listen, I love the connection we have, we should just be friends. She's going let's not ruin this. You're the first, she's never heard that before. And what happens there is that she'll try to get out of it if, most likely, not all the time, but in most cases, if you do it right, she will. Then you are in a situation where you are controlling the narrative in terms of the relationships. You're not no more the person who's begging for attention, but rather you're the one adding value to people, and they can't get enough of you. But a setup could also be built around, let's say, your passion for fitness, or it could be built around your passion for parties. When I did this with parties, I had 1,000 people. Matt Artisan, the owner of The Attractive Man, he knows that. My buddy, I invited him. We had 1,000 people, and I did this in 2 weeks with spare time. All these women are seeing my name everywhere. Do you think it's gonna make it easier for me to date some of them? Obviously it is. But how do you do that? Well, there's a method to it. If you understand these things, it's gonna be way easier than running around and doing a lot of approaches. The thing you gotta do is you gotta add value. You gotta find a way to actually leverage beauty. You gotta find a way to leverage sexiness, like women, in a way that's positive. This is what Coca-Cola does. This is what Pepsi does. This is what any smart enterprise in the world does. That's just the reality. But if you create a setup like this, it is absolutely going to change your life. And that's the one thing I'm trying to help you understand. Before making this method work with the lifestyle setup, you gotta understand that there is a formula to making this work. And here are the 3 things you should note down. Number 1 is you need what we call pre-selection. Then you gotta have high status, and then you gotta have specific lifestyle value. Only then will your setup work. Pre-selection is the idea of you're surrounded by other women and women see that. So you're pre-selected. Other women have said, you are okay, you're good. And that is the number one thing you can do to attract other women. This is scientifically proven by Benedict Jones in 2006. It's one of those only things that are absolutely scientific. The second thing is high status. That means you have authority in a field. Again, if you're targeting a very specific niche and helping them, then you'll be able to connect, but you gotta have authority. How do you do that? You can partner up, or you can actually get a skill, which is going to make you even more attractive man and more powerful and a better leader, which is what you want with this stuff. And thirdly, what you need is specific lifestyle value. That's again, being specific, adding value. A very concrete example, let's say you're talking to an upcoming model and you can actually help her with her portfolio because you have the team in place, you have photographers and stuff like that. As simple as having a camera and actually being able to do great shots. That's a connection tool. That's a tool that forces you to connect with other people. That's smart, it's a passion. And then you can build friendships and joy around this passion. But you can't do it unless you understand this formula. To make your setup work, you also gotta have a world-class offer. So make sure that it's something that's so good and presented so good that people would actually want to pay for it. And then you give it away for free in the beginning. And then you can actually build a business on it if you want to as well. But if you have that mindset, things are gonna be way easier. I just want you to understand that this is not something that requires you to be a genius. You just gotta follow simple steps. So obviously this is the beginning of it, but you gotta put in work. Like nothing in life comes easy, but once you get it up, actually, then it is easy. Then you don't have to do all the work. That's what is really beautiful about this method. You set things up and then people, they are coming to you. But you do need to, create something of value in the beginning, of course. And then you put it on your social media. That's the next tip in the setup. You gotta make sure your social media is geared towards the people that you're trying to attract. Once you have made a king's decision, once you have your lifestyle setup up and running, the third thing you need, my brother, is you need to have flow in your life. You need to have flow. You need to make things easy. Right now, your brain is probably going, like, is this possible? How can I do it? I'm not even sure. I'm telling you, you can. I'm also telling you, it's way easier to actually build a setup and maintain it than you think. But you gotta have flow. How can you have flow? Well, here's a few ideas. Between $1,000 and $3,000 a month, invest it and leverage other people. That's how you create flow, like a promoter. Let's say that you actually get the promoter to do most of the work. So instead of you running around and approaching women, the promoter brings 50, 30, 100 girls to your party. That's an easy way. Maybe you don't like parties, but that's the idea of creating flow. You're utilizing other people, you're building a team. It could also be teaming up with a photographer, makeup artist. I remember the first time I did this and I actually got 28 models. 28 models in 1 month, 7 every Tuesday, hang out, and then, I befriended them and we went to the clubs and parties and stuff like that. They had fun, they had a great experience. And that's very simple. I was not running around and trying to convince them to come to this thing. I literally just got the makeup artist to do it. And it's way cheaper than you think. You can, for $500, you can set up your first get together like tomorrow. Once you've done one and validated your concept, then you can actually go and do other stuff. This is what makes this very, very interesting, because then once you've done the first one, you have social proof. And now you actually have your own portfolio, which is just like a lot of images and pictures that proves that you actually know what you're doing. And now people will actually want to work with you for free if you do it high quality the first time. Back to the idea of getting promoters to bring girls to your party. That's a really smart idea. And then you will be hanging out with 100 girls, and maybe you're 10 or 20 of your guy friends. That's the Dan Bilzerian lifestyle. And that's pretty easy. You can share the cost of this. And now you can connect with all these women. And guess what? When you're the only guys there, then they will want to party with you. I would suggest going with a ratio of 60 to 40% or 70, 30%. That means 30 guys and 100 women, something along those lines, right? That's gonna make things so much fun for you, and it's going to give you a mind fuck that nothing else will ever be able to do in your life. I remember the first time I was hanging out with 100 girls and I was like, holy shit, this just happened. And we were 2 dudes. And then all of a sudden we literally had to get more dudes because we didn't know it would be so powerful. This stuff works, but only if you work. Imagine building a lifestyle setup where you have a lifestyle assistant. That's what I help my clients with. I actually give them a lifestyle assistant. So in many cases, you can get somebody to work for you full time for $1,000 a month on average. There are people in the third world you can hire on sites like Fiverr and Upwork who will actually go and do work for you and be extremely qualified. We are talking about like long college educations or they're working in big companies. So you can actually hire these people at part-time for $250, $500 a month. And then you can actually get these people to find models in your area. For instance, if that's the person you want to connect with, the people you want to connect with, or whatever people you want to connect with. It could be promoters, it could be club owners, it could be like whatever you need to connect with. And literally they can give you 1,000+ contacts that month and also reach out to them. Anyways, man, I know that was a lot of information, but I'm trying to give you as much value as I can. If you want to get more clarity with all this stuff, what you can do is you can click the link in the description, and then there is a chance for you to get more free content, actually hours of material. I'm giving it away for no cost. Normally people would charge you thousands of dollars for this. I'm here to give back, but you got to talk with my team first because this is really powerful and there's nothing like it out there. So we want to make sure this only get into the hands of the right people. You can also apply to be working with me personally. I only take in a very few very serious clients. You know, I work with students and 8 and 9 figure earners, like everything in between. It's just a matter of you truly wanting to build your dream lifestyle. If you want that, then there's nothing like this in the world. If you click the link in the description, you'll get something completely for free once you go through the qualification process. There's 14 questions. We only want to help people who have good intentions, who love women, who want to build something incredible for themselves and are serious about it. This is your chance to take it to the next level. So click that link in the description and I'll see you on the other side.